A catastrophic magnitude 7.6 earthquake struck the waters off North Sulawesi and North Maluku on Thursday morning, April 2nd, 2026, sending shockwaves across the region, claiming lives, and triggering a temporary tsunami alert that caused widespread panic in coastal communities. According to the Meteorology, Climatology, and Geophysics Agency, BMKG, the powerful tectonic tremor occurred at 0548-16 WIB, 0648-16 WITA. The epicenter was located in the Maluku Sea, approximately 129 kilometers southeast of Bitung, North Sulawesi, at a coordinates of 1.25 degrees North Latitude and 126.27 degrees East Longitude. The quake was classified as a megathrust event, originating at a depth of 62 kilometers. Due to its significant magnitude and undersea origin, BMKG immediately issued a tsunami warning for several districts in North Sulawesi and North Maluku, including Bitung, Ternate, and Halmahera. The disaster has resulted in at least 2 confirmed fatalities and several injuries as of Friday, April 3rd, 2026. One victim, identified as 70-year-old Deice Lahia from Minahasa, was tragically killed when the Indonesian National Sports Committee (KUNI) building in Manado collapsed. Another death was reported in the city due to falling debris from a residential structure. Emergency medical teams at Bhayangkara Hospital and local clinics are treating dozens of residents for fractures and head injuries sustained during the frantic evacuation. In the minutes following the main shock, residents in Bitung and Manado reported the seawater retreating by up to 10 meters, a classic precursor to a tsunami. This prompted thousands of people to flee to higher ground using motorcycles, cars, or on foot. Tsunami waves were eventually recorded at several monitoring stations, with heights reaching up to 75 centimeters in North Minahasa and 20 centimeters in Bitung. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, PTWC, and BMKG eventually lifted the warning approximately 2 hours later after sea levels stabilized. Meanwhile, the serene coastal stretches of Minahasa Regency were transformed into scenes of chaos and destruction on Thursday morning, April 2nd, 2026, as a powerful tsunami, triggered by a massive undersea earthquake, slammed into the shoreline. The disaster, which followed a magnitude 7.6 megathrust tremor in the Maluku Sea, has left coastal villages submerged, infrastructure shattered, and a community in mourning. The sequence began at 0548-16 WIB, 0648-16 WITA, when a violent rupture occurred 129 kilometers southeast of Bitung. While the shaking itself was terrifying, it was the rapid withdrawal of the sea that signaled a more dire threat to the residents of Minahasa's eastern coast. Eyewitnesses in the Kima and Kombi districts reported that within 15 minutes of the earthquake, the tide retreated more than 50 meters, exposing the seabed and trapping fish in the mud. Despite the Meteorology, Climatology, and Geophysics Agency, BMKG, issuing an immediate tsunami warning, the speed of the surge caught many by surprise. The first wave, recorded at approximately 75 centimeters in North Minahasa and slightly higher in localized inlets of East Minahasa, was not a single wall of water, but a turbulent, debris-filled surge that pushed nearly 200 meters inland in low-lying areas. The human toll in the Minahasa Regency has been particularly heavy. Regional disaster authorities have confirmed that Deice Lahia, a 70-year-old resident of Minahasa, was among the first confirmed fatalities. While her death was linked to the structural collapse caused by the initial quake in nearby Manado, the tsunami has accounted for several missing persons in the coastal fishing hamlets of East Minahasa. Search and rescue SAR teams are currently scouring the mangroves and debris piles in Tulap and Bentaman. The water came with a roar like a jet engine, said Marcus, a local fisherman. We ran for the hills, but some of the elderly and children couldn't move fast enough. The physical landscape of the Minahasa coast has been permanently altered. The force of the water, combined with the initial seismic shock, decimated local infrastructure. Over 150 traditional fishing boats were smashed against the docks or carried inland into coconut plantations. In the Kombi District, dozens of semi-permanent wooden houses were flattened or swept off their foundations. The coastal highway connecting Bitung to East Minahasa has been rendered impassable in several sections due to sand deposits, logs, and thick mud brought in by the tide. Significant damage was reported at local churches, which often serve as community hubs and evacuation points. The National Disaster Management Agency, BMKG, has declared a state of emergency for the Minahasa Regency. Relief efforts are being hampered by the sheer volume of debris and the ongoing threat of aftershocks. Setting up tents in the highlands of Tondano and Lembian to house over 2,000 displaced coastal residents. Tsunami saltwater intrusion has contaminated local wells, making the delivery of fresh water a critical priority. Field hospitals are being established to treat tsunami lung, aspiration of salt water and silt, and traumatic injuries. Meanwhile, a powerful and shallow undersea earthquake measuring magnitude 7.6 on the Richter scale struck the Molucca Sea in the early hours of Thursday, April 2nd, 2026. The seismic event, originating near Batang Dua Island, triggered widespread panic, caused significant structural damage to religious and residential buildings, and prompted a Level 3 tsunami early warning that sent thousands of residents fleeing to higher ground. The Meteorology, Climatology, and Geophysics Agency, BMKG, reported that the earthquake occurred at 5:48:16 WIB, 6:48:16 WITA. The epicenter was precisely located at 1.25 degrees North Latitude and 27 degrees East Longitude, approximately 129 kilometers southeast of Bitung, North Sulawesi, but had its most profound impact on the neighboring islands of North Maluku. The tremor originated at a depth of 62 kilometers, classified as a megathrust event within the Molucca Sea Plate's subduction zone. While the USGS initially estimated the magnitude at 7.4, Indonesian authorities confirmed the 7.6 strength, which was felt as far away as Gorontalo and Manado, with an intensity of 4 to 5 on the modified Mercalli intensity, MMY, scale. Immediately following the main shock, BMKG issued a tsunami early warning for several coastal zones. In North Maluku, the warning specifically targeted the districts of West Halmahera and Ternate. Tsunami waves were successfully detected by tide gauges, although they remained relatively small. Sea level rise of approximately 0.30 meters, 30 centimeters, was recorded. Waves reached between 0.20 and 0.75 meters. The Ternate BMKG geophysical station noted that while the tsunami was not significant enough to be seen by the naked eye in some city areas, the retreat of the sea in other coastal pockets caused major alarm. The tsunami warning was officially lifted at 0956 WIB, after sea levels returned to normal patterns. This remote island in Ternate suffered the brunt of the structural damage. The Kalvari Church, a central landmark for the community, reportedly sustained heavy damage, with collapsed walls and roof sections. Residents reported falling plaster and cracked facades in several commercial buildings and private homes. In the sub-district of Batang Dua, almost the entire population evacuated to hills and higher ground, remaining there for several hours, even after the tsunami warning was cancelled due to fears of aftershocks. The National Disaster Management Agency, BMKG, has formed a special task force to accelerate the assessment of damage in North Maluku. BMKG head Suharyanto stated that verifying data from remote islands like Batang Dua remains a priority to ensure emergency logistics, such as tents, clean water, and medical supplies, reach those in need. local BPBD, Regional Disaster Management Agency offices in Ternate and Tidore, have established emergency command posts and are currently conducting building safety inspections to determine which residents can safely return to their homes. Meanwhile, in the port city of Bitung, which was closest to the epicenter on the Sulawesi side, the damage is characterized by liquefaction light and ground shifting. Over 450 homes have been categorized as heavily damaged. In the Girian and Maisa sub-districts, the combination of the quake and the subsequent 75-centimeter tsunami surge led to the collapse of coastal wooden housing and the flooding of permanent brick structures with silt and debris. On Batang Dua Island, the Kalvari Church, a historical and spiritual anchor for the local community, was nearly leveled. Reports indicate that the tremors caused the belfry to collapse into the main nave. Local officials state that approximately 60% of the masonry homes on this island have suffered wall collapses, rendering them uninhabitable. In the city of Ternate, several shopping centers and traditional markets reported significant ceiling collapses and shattered glass facades. The Al-Munawwar Great Mosque, situated on the coastline, survived the tsunami, but sustained cracks in its minarets, leading authorities to temporarily restrict access for safety reasons. In the immediate aftermath, over 80% of Ternate and Bitung lost power due to the automatic tripping of high-voltage transformers and the snapping of distribution lines. While PLN, State Electricity Company, has restored 60% of the grid, remote areas remain in darkness. Tsunami saltwater intrusion and pipe ruptures have cut off clean water to approximately 15,000 households in the Minahasa and Bitung regions.